Hey guys, good evening. So, wanted to talk a little bit about stress reduction and how to have better communication. So, I got an interesting question this morning from one of my colleagues. They had teenagers. We have teenagers, and the question was, how do I have better communication? Like, teenagers are, that kind of rebellious, rambunctious, I know it all, stage of their lives, hormones raging, all that fun stuff. That's Mr. Phillip in the background. Um, so, how do you actually communicate where they feel like they're getting the best value? We as adults, we're thinking more logically, more clear. We have an outside perspective, so we miss the importance of that emotion that's running through them, and that's really the most important part to them. The logic portion comes later. You first have to deal with the emotions. So one of the things I always start with is simply listen, right? So there's a guy, Marshall B. Rosenberg, absolutely amazing author if you haven't heard of him. He created the Nonviolent Communication, A Language of Life. It's a book. You can go research it. He's got a foundation. A lot of free material out there on his website too, which is really, really awesome. And he's got a TED Talk as well. Kind of opened my eyes to a different way of speaking. And the more I get into the subconscious coaching, the more I realize how important language really is. And so when speaking to somebody, especially in a heightened state, first is just listen. Right? They're going to tell you everything you need to know as long as you're paying attention to the cues, pay attention to their language, both body and spoken. So one of the other things then is repeat back whatever it is they're saying in exact tone and language that they're using. If you can mimic their body language, even better. Then they know that you're actually hearing them, and that's going to calm them down. The act of repetition back is one of the most important things in non-violent communication. It's really kind of cool. Hey, Mariana. And then number 3 is ask for permission to help. Sometimes, especially as guys, I'm engineer as well, so it's like you want to jump immediately to how to fix it. Sometimes that's not the most important piece. A lot of people just want to be heard. And once they're heard, then if they want help, then give them help. The old saying, I know it's cliche, but you can lead a camel to water, but you can't make it drink. Same thing with helping people. If you try to help somebody who doesn't want to be helped, you're going to get conflict back. So the last step is simply asking for permission to help. And that will go a long way after you've already heard them, repeat it back to them, then ask for help. Then you can go and fix the problem, which is what they're wanting in the first place. But you need to get steps to get there. Hey, Matthew. So the last part I wanted to do is go into how to actually reduce the stress once you've gotten to that point. So it's really kind of neat. The body has energy sections within called... from the acupuncture community. So up here at the top is one of the primary ones that we use. And what we do is first we identify the feeling or body sensation that the person has. Focusing on that portion allows the body to activate those areas. And then what we're doing is then taking a subjective score of distress, SUDS. So that's kind of our way of gauging if we're making progress or not making progress throughout this process. So then we're just taking 2 fingers usually, or the top of the head, I can usually use all 4. So then you're just kind of tapping right at the crown. Think of it like where a baby's soft spot would be, just a little bit farther back than that. And while you're doing that, you're just thinking about that body sensation or the language around the problem. And what that's doing is it's breaking up that energy, allowing it to move. And you can feel it. It's kind of an interesting experience. It works best when somebody's performing it on you, but doing it yourself is still extremely effective. So as you're tapping, you're thinking about that body sensation or thought, and then verbally out loud, it helps to do everything with all the senses possible. So you're hearing it, you're speaking it, you're feeling it, you're thinking about it. And then you just say, let it go. And then repeat that. Take a full breath all the way in, all the way out, and then just let it go. And then just give it a second. You'll kind of feel it when you're ready. And then this takes several rounds too, so usually. And then the second point is right underneath the collarbone, or right above the collarbone, there's those two notches. Right in the middle is the second point. And then we'll repeat the same process. Focus in on that emotion, focus in on that body sensation. And then as you're tapping, take a deep breath out, and then say, let it go. And then at the end of that, we're going to redo our suds, see how we're changing. And it's always important to not think about what isn't changing, but what is changing. That reinforces the forward progression of the subconscious so that we can then move forward. Hey, Rachel. So that's kind of neat. So just by the mere fact of thinking about the change, the stress reduction, the moving forward or moving through, is also part of the process. And then we're going to repeat that as many times as it takes to get all the way through it. Hope this helps. If you guys have any questions, drop a comment down below. And if you'd like the more verbose technique or potentially one-on-one coaching, just send me a message. See you guys later.